Imagine you're Jack, a 30-something professional who's been saving diligently for years. Now, you're ready to take a leap into the world of investing. You've been exploring, researching, and contemplating various investment avenues. Stocks, mutual funds, real estate, you've considered them all. Then, one fine day, you stumble upon an investment instrument that offers a promise of stability amidst the volatile market: bonds. The word alone seems to exude a sense of security, doesn't it? Now, what exactly are these bonds? Well, they're essentially IOUs, a promise to pay back a borrowed amount with interest. Governments and companies use them to raise funds. And you, as an investor, lend your money to these entities, expecting a return. The sound of a fixed income, a steady stream of cash flow, it's enticing, isn't it? And the lower risk compared to stocks seems like a cherry on top. But here's the catch. Just like any other investment, bonds, too, come with their own set of risks. Interest rate fluctuations, credit risks, inflation, they all play their part. And let's not forget, bonds aren't traded on public exchanges like stocks. They are bought through brokers, or in the case of US Treasury bonds, directly from the government. So, you can't just wake up one day, decide to invest in bonds, and voila, you're done. No, it requires a strategy, a plan of action. And just when the world of bonds starts to seem a little daunting, you remember something. You're Jack, the aspiring investor. You've got your diligence, your commitment, and most importantly, your curiosity. So instead of being overwhelmed, you're intrigued. You want to understand this world, to navigate through the complex maze of bond investing. Curious and eager to learn more, Jack embarks on a journey to understand the ins and outs of bond investing. Before we continue, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next awesome video. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts or any topics you'd love to see in future videos. So, what exactly are bonds? Think of it as lending your money to a company or government. In return, they promise to pay you back with interest. Now imagine you're at a coffee shop. A friend walks in looking a tad bit worried. They've got a brilliant business idea, but need some quick funds to kickstart. You decide to lend them some money with the promise that they'll pay you back, but with a little extra for your generosity. That's exactly how bonds work. You're essentially playing the role of a lender, and the company or government issuing the bond is your friend who needs the funds. But bonds aren't just a one-size-fits-all deal. There are different types to cater to different needs. You've got corporate bonds issued by companies. Then there are municipal bonds, which are issued by local governments for public projects, and treasury bonds, which are issued by the federal government. Each of these comes with its own set of benefits and risks. One of the potential benefits of bonds is the promise of regular income. Let's go back to your friend at the coffee shop. They're not just going to pay you back all at once. Instead, they'll give you a little bit every month as interest, and at the end of a specified period, they'll return the initial amount you lent. That's how bonds work. They provide you with consistent income over time. Bonds also offer a sense of security. They are generally considered less risky than stocks because even if the company doesn't perform well, you're still entitled to your interest payments and your initial investment back. It's like if your friend's business idea didn't pan out, they'd still need to repay you, right? Now, all of this sounds great, but remember, bonds aren't risk-free. The company or government you lend to could face financial trouble and default on their payments. Or, if interest rates rise, the value of your bond could drop. But that's a story for another day. In essence, when you buy a bond, you're becoming a lender. And like any lender, you expect to be paid back with interest. Now that we know what bonds are, how does one go about investing in them? Well, think of it like shopping for a product. You've got two main avenues: buying directly from the government or going through brokers. In the first case, imagine strolling into a government shop and picking up US Treasury bonds right off the shelf. That's how straightforward it can be to buy bonds directly from the government. In the second case, think of brokers as these bustling online marketplaces, brimming with a variety of bonds, including corporate and municipal bonds. It's like scrolling through an e-commerce site, picking out what you want, popping it into your virtual cart, and checking out. Now remember, each bond is like an IOU from the issuer. It's promising you a return on your investment, known up front. But keep in mind, just like you'd research a product before buying, it's crucial to understand the bond's credit rating, its term, and the interest it offers. And that's not all. You also have to factor in inflation, as it can affect the bond prices, especially if interest rates rise. But don't worry, holding on to your bonds until maturity usually ensures you don't lose out. Investing in bonds is like shopping for a product. You need to know where to find it, how to buy it, and what you're getting in return. But like any investment, buying bonds isn't just about making a purchase. It's also about having a strategy. Now imagine planning a road trip. You wouldn't just jump in the car and drive, would you? You'd map out your route, plan your stops, and prepare for the unexpected. That's what bond investment strategies are all about. First up, there's bond laddering. Picture it like a workout routine. You don't do all your hard exercises on day one and rest for the rest of the week, right? You spread them out, just like bond laddering spreads out your investments across different bond maturities. This strategy helps to balance risk and returns. Then there's diversification. Think of it as a balanced diet. You wouldn't eat only apples for every meal, would you? Similarly, in the world of bonds, you spread your investments across different types, like corporate, municipal, and treasury bonds. This way, if one sector takes a tumble, your entire portfolio isn't left in ruins. Lastly, we have active management. Imagine you're a chef in a bustling kitchen. You're constantly adjusting the heat, stirring the pot, adding a pinch of salt here, a splash of wine there. Active management is the same. It involves keeping a close eye on market trends and making adjustments to your portfolio as needed to maximize returns. Having a bond investment strategy is like having a roadmap. It guides you on your journey, helping you make informed decisions along the way. So we've taken a deep dive into the world of bonds. Let's summarize what we've learned. Firstly, we've unpacked what bonds are. These fixed income instruments used by governments and corporations to raise funds. If you recall, our friend Jack was intrigued by this concept. He learned that by buying a bond, he essentially lends money to the issuer for a fixed period of time. In return, he gets periodic interest payments and the return of the principal amount when the bond matures. We've also explored how investing in bonds can offer income, diversification, and a lower risk compared to stocks. Jack was particularly excited about this, as he saw bonds as a way to balance his investment portfolio. He realized that while bonds come with their own risks, such as credit and interest rate risks, they can be a safer bet in uncertain times. Next, we dived into the art of investing in bonds. Jack found out that bonds aren't publicly traded on exchanges, but are bought through brokers, or in the case of US Treasury bonds, directly from the government. He understood the importance of checking the credit ratings of bonds, which are provided by credit agencies and give an indication of the issuer's ability to repay the debt. Then, we moved on to bond investment strategies. Jack learned about laddering, where he could spread his investments across bonds with different maturity dates. He also discovered the barbell strategy, where he could invest in short and long-term bonds, and the bullet strategy, where he'd invest in bonds that mature at the same time. He realized that sticking to a strategy and effectively managing his investments could help him achieve his financial goals. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of bond investing. Remember, like Jack, it all starts with a curiosity and a willingness to learn. Until next time, happy investing.